Gormagut, Lescan Corla, and first of all I want to commend Deputy Kinney on the bill he has put forward. For us in rural areas, we understand where he is coming from, and we all see week in, week out the problems that, especially in the west of Ireland, different counties incur. First of all, when you look at the regulation at the moment, and I would say the law is an ass, to put it very simple. If you have an old house down in Leitrim or in other parts of the west of Ireland, and especially in Leitrim, and you go to do it up, and part of that when you're putting in for the planning permission is to do up your septic tank, the reed bed system is accepted. But if you're going to build a new house, it's not accepted. Now, what genius came up with that? I would like to know. We know, and I've worked at this around the country, that in Monaghan and in various parts of the country, even in large scale, one of the most successful percolating areas, the way it has been done was through the reed bed system. That is fact. That doesn't need a group of so-called experts looking at it for another year and deciding. And to put it bluntly, the government's amendment is an insult to what Martin Kinney has put forward, because this has proved itself down through the years in large scale and in small scale. There are people that test the water where it comes out of, and you have the reed bed system, or what we'd call Sally's. Some of them like to put a fancy name on it called Willow, but where the water comes out, it is better quality than bathing water. Those are the facts. Those are the experts that has tested the water, but funnily enough, another group don't want to believe that. And this comes at a time, and I want you to hear me out, Minister, because you're involved in this part of it, when they talk about the rural water that they're looking at it at the moment. This comes at a time when the EPA, the same EPA, has brought Irish Water to court and fined them they've got fined 6,000 and 8,000 and 10,000 for not putting in sewerage systems in places, in towns. And at the same time, there was an application in to make those systems better from Irish Water, and it's all taxpayers' money now, remember this when we go fining each other. And the EPA are hanging for the last year on deciding whether they'll give an outflow licence or not. I've seen a situation in Glenamaddy in County Galway where the Irish Water are trying to put in, there's a new upgrade being done, and the discharge licence is out, and we have to bear in mind and remember this, whether the environmentalists like it or not, that 50% of our water that we extract is out of designated areas, and 50% of where we're going to put it, when it comes out from us and down the toilet and out the sewer, will have to go into designated areas. And they're putting stipulations that you might have to bring a pipe 7 miles down the road when you have an outflow beside it, and you're bringing the quality of the treatment from 0 treatment at the moment to 97% purification. Now, Minister, this EPA seems to be a body that's accountable to nobody, and they need reining in. As was pointed out earlier on, there might be a bit of a theory from D4 and from up and here in Dublin that we'd end up that we'd have, as was said earlier on, the half door, and we'd welcome the tourists, and that the west of Ireland can be a wilderness. The dream to go down on a Friday evening and spend until Sunday and go surfing and go walking, and they're welcome, by the way. But we have to make a living and work in those areas. And there is rules. I saw a document came out from the EPA in the last few weeks, Minister, that said we had 30 places that were sending out raw sewage. To be honest about it, they don't know how to count because there's more. There's a lot of smaller towns. There is funding needed where communities will help the government in this. But, Minister, someone needs to talk to them. When you're trying to solve a problem, and the likes of Irish Water have plans in place, and they bring them to court. Now, someone needs to call a halt to this crack that's going on in this country. And they're dragged through the court, and the money that's required for some of these schemes, every 6,000 is something less going to be done. In Leitrim, where you have marginal land, in Galway, in all of the west of Ireland, there are parts of it where there's good quality land and where you have marginal land. And this is a solution that should be it should be put out there because it has been proved. People have been brought in busloads to the plant in Monaghan for the way it has worked, and indeed other plants around the country. And the piece of legislation that's in front of you and in front of us all is common sense, it's a solution, it's making the quality of water better. When at the same time, in that same county, you'll get a helicopter flying around the place, throwing fertiliser down that we know, and it has proved, that is damaging water through the forestry that's been sown. And you might think that you'll get away with having spruce on every road and no people, but there's going to be a revolt to it. And Minister, I would ask you, there is time yet before the voting. I would ask you to withdraw the amendment, because I am sick of hearing that this will come in 2019. What's another year? Well, for people that we are trying to make sure, and it's not that simple, to get them living in rural areas and make villages sustainable. They need whatever help they can get. This is a proactive piece of legislation that Martin Kinney has brought forward to solve something for people that want to build new houses in the areas. But is the dream to try and refuse planning permission in all the rural areas, push them into the cities, make more ghettos out of it, and have no one in the rural parts? This is unacceptable, Minister. And I think that the votes in the next few days, or when we're voting on it, will prove that a common sense piece of legislation will be backed within here. Thank you.